Congratulations, you finally made it to 4 p.m. You know what that means. Happy hour. It's time to kick back, relax, and dive into the world of sports with the Young and Norvelle Show. Whether you're catching up on the latest scores, analyzing the big plays, or gearing up for tonight's games, we've got you covered. So grab a cold one, settle in, and let's talk sports. Here they are, Patrick Young and Terry Norvelle.
On a Thursday, I thought we would start the show playing a game. Who doesn't want to do that on a beautiful Thursday? Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Norvelle. Where is Terry Norvelle? I will give you clues where the Young and Norvelle show is originating from right now as you're watching. How about fried gator bites, fried green tomatoes, black and blue shrimp bowl, lobster bacon burger, Cajun grilled mahi sandwich, flounder mahi, pan-seared wahoo over chorizo dirty rice, charred green beans topped with pineapple salsa, calypso jerk butter, bouillabaisse. I'm not even sure what that word means, but it's fancy and it's fun to say. Bouillabaisse.
Oh, yeah, bouillabaisse.
And
yeah, I know this
just
word.
for the heck of it, just for the heck of it, blueberry and chocolate chip waffle bread pudding. Some of the specials today at Sliders Oyster Bar down in Neptune Beach. That's just the specials, not off the main menu. Zach Rothrock, we'll get to sports. We'll get to Patrick Young. Hopefully, we're going to take talk some college baseball. Billy Napier and Shad Khan, are they kind of alike? We're going to get into some SEC midweek basketball. We will touch on the tragedy a little bit. We have to. It's such a big story. But with all that, Zach, do you know what the word bouillabaisse? What is bouillabaisse? It's fun to say. Bouillabaisse.
Yeah, well, I know that I learned it in my French class that I barely made it out of with a passing grade. It's some type of like dish with there's seafood in it. There's various types of vegetables. Yeah, bouillabaisse. Yeah, I know it's a French word. I know that.
Well, I got to ask this. You voluntarily took French instead of Spanish? Why not just take Spanish?
Yeah, I've gone through this. Yeah, I understand the logic here because I know several people that speak Spanish. I know zero people that speak French, but also at our high school. Yeah, at our high school, the Spanish teacher was notoriously very difficult, and the French teacher was a lot easier. And so, I'm taking I like to take the path of least resistance as often as possible. That's kind of my philosophy on most things.
Yeah, fair enough. Ask a question, get an answer. Very nice. Very nice. By the way, bouillabaisse, it's fun to say. You have no chance of spelling it, I don't think. Unbelievable. This thing is
I'll let you give it a shot. I think it's BOUILLABAISE. I got to be kind of close.
I think he hit it.
Wow. All right. Yeah, Sam, I told you. I did get out of the franchise with the passing grade, barely. Yeah, I'm trying to get Patrick lined up. I am.
I think Pat can at least hear us. And Pat, I think he might have gone Google on that, my man. Patrick.
No, I'm on the screen. There's zero chance.
Okay. All right. You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. He did it well. Pat, did you know?
When Zach or you or me, we do something smarter than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Hey, PY. Pat, did you know what bouillabaisse is? Bouillabaisse. Fun to say. It's a French seafood dish, according to Zachary Rothrock and the good folks here at Sliders Oyster Bar. Oyster Bar.
I was going to say, what's the relevance here? Why we got the word? Okay, I understand now.
I did you were just getting hooked up. When we came on, I said, where is Terry Norvelle? And I'm going to give clues. Fried gator bites, fried green tomatoes, black and blue shrimp bowl, lobster bacon burger, Cajun grilled mahi sandwich, flounder mahi, on and on and on. And bouillabaisse is one of the specials today. And I had to ask, what the hell is bouillabaisse?
Got you. Thanks for the context.
Hey, Patrick, I want you to try and say it like I say it. Bouillabaisse. Try and say it.
Bouillabaisse.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Hey, man, you did some work now. You did some work Tuesday and Wednesday night, my man. You did a lot.
I was so tired, Terry. I'm so tired. Terry, I'm so tired.
You did a good job, though, man. You guys did a good job.
Man.
Let's go ahead and start with SEC basketball. Patrick had his duty this week. Give me some of the highlights from your 2 days working SEC basketball.
Highlights. Gosh, give me the Tuesday games. The Gators didn't play this weekend.
Well, Kentucky taking down Tennessee on the road.
Yeah.
That's the big winner, I think, from midweek.
Well, yeah, that's a good place to start. Kentucky goes into Knoxville and just shoots efficiently. I think they were
50%.
12 of 24 or 12 and 26, one of those two.
50
and
for the game, Patrick. 50 for the game.
They had two guys out, Lamont Butler, their starting point guard, and Carr, really Andrew Carr. They were both out. And some kid, Almanar, he stepped up. I'm like, I know. I was like, I kept saying, Ron, who's that? Ron, who's that? I said that like 2 or 3 times.
He could shoot.
And man, you going to that game, Terry, there's just so many statistical things that Tennessee did and didn't do that you're just like, well, that's why they lost.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, Zakai got a little tweaked in that game, had a scare. He had a, he's probably and I'll be honest, he's probably my favorite to watch Tennessee Volunteer of all time.
I agree.
He was 1 of 10 from the 3-point line. That's the first red flag. I don't think Tennessee is going to win games where he shoots that many from the 3-point line. They shot 11 of 45.
Yeah, I've got it
as a team from the 3-point line.
God.
A lot of them were open looks, Terry. They had a good amount of uncontested and open looks, just didn't make shots. And then this is the most baffling one right here. The last 450 minutes, they didn't take a single 2-point field goal attempt.
Wow.
Yeah,
and they were
the last one's just like, goodness gracious.
Throwing up bricks from behind the line, and that's all they were doing. Pat, here's the numbers. Kentucky was 25 of 50 shooting the basketball. That's exactly 50%. Kentucky was 12 of 24 from the 3-point line. Exactly.
Wow.
They shot 50%. Tennessee was 25 for 72 for the game, 34%. They were, as you said, 11 of 45, 24%. Now, I've got a concern now coming up Saturday. Florida plays at Knoxville. My concern is I've watched Tennessee play 3 or 4 complete games. Every time I've watched Tennessee, they can't drop the ball in the ocean from a boat. My concern is at some point they're going to start making a few shots. I hope it's not Saturday. I hope it's not Saturday. Yeah,
you hope it's not Saturday. Yeah, really do, because I think, if the Gators lose this one, then it's just obvious their chances of, Auburn losing enough games to win the league just get less and less. Like, there's no question that the Gators are a tournament team and top seed and all that, but I think the first thing you want to play for is winning your league. It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine that they have another terrible shooting game. But look, I mean, how they performed in Gainesville earlier this year.
Yeah.
The 30-point defeat they took from the hands of the Florida Gators. That was something else, man. And, sorry to just bring Zach into it, man. This is the first, talking about South Carolina, they just lost to Georgia. Man, this is the first time I've seen Lamont Butler starting to get that just so frustrated. It's boiling over. Boiling over for him, man.
Well, Pat, I thought obviously Kentucky. I've got a little list: winners and losers from midweek SEC basketball. Kentucky winner, Ole Miss. Ole Miss fought hard to get that win. Ole Miss,
man. Did you see the kid Trey Johnson? He had 2 chances to win the game.
What a young player he is, man.
But look at this, Terry. He's been playing. I think he's leading the country, Trey Johnson, in points per game as a freshman.
Yes.
He now has somewhere between because I can't remember. He might have 7. Now he has 7 20-point games as a freshman. DJ Augustine had 7 as well at Texas. You know how many Kevin Durant had?
How many?
30.
Oh, that hurts. 30 is a freshman.
When they put that graphic up, I was like, dang. 30. It's like, well, I'm like, y'all are good, but Kevin Durant.
I think that Durant guy's going to be a pretty good player. My God.
Yeah, he's got a chance, man.
Wait a minute.
He's got a chance.
Back up. 30. What did he have now? Make sure I heard this right.
30 20-point games.
As
his
a
freshman year, his one and only year.
That is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Georgia, good win, and they had to. Georgia cannot give away games they're supposed to win as they're trying to slide into the tournament, right?
They had to beat. They need to win one of those ranked games. Opponents coming in at home, they got to win one of those.
Yeah, Alabama, nice solid win. Mark Sears.
Dude, what a game!
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
Well, you knew he was. You thought he was going to bounce back, and Oates Hilarious, the producer for the show last night, he's a State fan, and he's like, Pat, we don't beat Alabama. We don't beat Alabama. Like, he just is so pessimistic, and rightfully so. Nate Oates, since he's been in Alabama, they're 11-2 against Mississippi State.
Is that right? And that was set up for State too. Boy, that was a great crowd.
Oh my God, Josh Hubbard. Good. Well, this is in this twofold. You know, Josh Hubbard took like 28 shots yesterday. Riley Kugel, I'm looking at the stat sheet. You know, EJ Melendez, he didn't have a great game, but he was trying. You could see him attacking, trying. Riley Kugel 1 for 3, 2 points in 25 minutes, 4 turnovers, no assists.
Oh, they can't have that out of him.
And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, if you would have got to Kansas like you wanted, it would be even worse. There's more studs around there than just Josh Hubbard.
I forgot he was going to go to Kansas first, and then he went to Mississippi State. Is Melendez a transfer from Georgia? Was he the guy?
He came from Illinois, then Georgia, and now here. Yeah.
He hit a bunch of threes in Gainesville last year when they almost beat Florida.
He sure did. He sure did. He had a great game. I was watching
that game, Patrick, last night, and I go, I think that's that kid that hit all those threes in Gainesville.
He had a great game. That's right. Yeah, good memory, Terry.
It was out of his mind, and Florida won it in overtime. I hate to pick on Tennessee, but they're the one big loser, I thought, from midweek SEC basketball.
For sure.
They needed that at home. They needed to knock off Kentucky with two players out. And Tennessee's been one of those perplexing teams. You know they're good. They're not playing anywhere near as good as they are. And I think you could say that all year, Patrick. Something's missing.
Yeah, man. I just don't because I don't want to put the fault. You got to. You can't tell me Rick Barnes doesn't notice that his guys aren't shooting the ball well. So, Igor Milicic, the transfer from Charlotte, he was playing out of his mind.
He really is.
Why do you not try to find a way or emphasize, hey, we got to find a way, get the ball to Igor. You know, what hurts Chaz Lanier he's not Dalton Connect. Dalton Connect, many times, if they needed a bucket, all right, 10 seconds left, you have the ball, everybody else move out of the way. Mm-hmm. And he's going to get you a bucket. You're Chaz Lanier, he seems to only really be coming off the screens, which is fine. But if he's not knocking down shots, he's not getting to the basket really. He's not helping them. And then that's where we go to Zakai taking too many. Yeah. And just their defense just wasn't enough. They didn't turn Kentucky over. We've known how good they've been national. They're a top 5 defense, and Kentucky's a top 5 offense, and their offense just took them boys to work last night.
And you're right. Lanier is, certainly Connect is a first-round choice, and he's becoming a star in the league. So we're not comparing. He doesn't have anywhere near the well-rounded. Connect could create his shot. Connect, as you know, he could drop a 26-footer, or he could blow by you for a dunk. He could create.
He was so long too, gosh.
He really so long. Good, explosive first step. That you said it. Lanier is pretty much a long-range bomber. That's what he is. He's a long-range. He's a long-range bomber. Lanier's another guy. The games I've watched Tennessee about 3 or 4 times, basically their whole game. The other night, Tuesday, obviously against Florida. Every time I watch Tennessee as a team, they can't throw it in the ocean. And I know Lanier is a really good shooter.
Yeah.
I've yet to catch him on a good shooting night. There have been a couple games I've watched, including the Florida game, because he's a UNF transfer. He wanted to play good against Florida.
Yeah.
Patrick, I almost felt sorry for him in the Florida game. He couldn't get on a ladder and drop the ball in. It was terrible. It was sad.
Yeah. Who reminded me of this? Josh Baker, our buddy over at UNF.
Yeah, sure.
With the basketball team, he said Chaz just doesn't play well against the Bulldogs and the Gators. For one, he just doesn't play well. Play against them quite a few times, I guess, when he was here.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like he is a very good player, and Tennessee's a very good team that has a great offensive potential and prowess, but for some reason they just, if they are not grooving offensively, it's like you hold your breath. All right, man, I hope they're going to find it. I really hope somebody's going to, like, I never looked at Kentucky's offense and thought they're not going to find a good shot or not make everything, but they're going to find, like, they attack Kentucky. And that kid, Otega Owe.
Is he an athlete or what?
Oh, woo. He is. He drove so slow, not slow, but like on the baseline on Igor, because he lost it for a second, jabbed, and then went up and dunked it. I was like, dang.
That was ugly.
That was so, and that's the one when he fell down and hit the ground. I'm so glad he didn't hit his mouth. It looked like he almost did.
It looked like he almost hit his face right on the court.
Yeah.
He came real, and you know what? That badass popped right up. He didn't lay around. He didn't.
He sure did.
He said, "The hell with this. I'm a basketball player." Patrick, you brought up Kentucky, and
if he hit his mouth, he wouldn't have.
Oh, he'd have been bleeding bad. He'd have busted his teeth out. That was an awkward fall, and it wasn't dirty. It was just an awkward fall.
Awkward. I didn't think it was a foul. It wasn't a foul.
I know. Patrick, I'm glad you brought up Kentucky. I'm not going to change. I do not like Kentucky basketball. Never have. I love calling it corrupt arena. I'm going to always call it corrupt arena. They get more free calls. I just hate Kentucky basketball. Always have. The problem I've got, Patrick, this Mark Pope guy is likable, and his team is
very likable, man.
He's likable, and his team is likable, and I like the way they play, and they play hard. It's impressive what he's done, melding all these different first-year guys. I mean, they're all
first year.
Man, it's impressive, isn't it?
Like, yeah, I mean, I think I didn't really know any of these guys.
No.
Into, I knew a lot of the players transferring over to Arkansas for Cal, because similar, new school, bringing in a lot of players. But I mean, gosh, did Mark Pope hit it out of the park? He got guys that, I mean, and it's not all just only run the offense. Like, they have such great freedom of movement and playing through the bigs, getting even that kid Brea that killed the Gators with 7 of 9. He had a shot. I didn't know he off the dribble, like cross behind the back, step back, swish. I was like, dog, boy, if you're doing that. Oh, 2 things so I don't forget whenever you want to get to them.
No, go ahead.
All right, Terry. First one, Otani. This is something that we talked about for a long time. Otani. They have recordings of Otani's other interrogator or interpreter.
Okay.
Imitating Otani. So it's that's clearing, because you did, and I don't consider it conspiracy, but Shohei being actually involved in the gambling stuff or whatever, I think that kind of clears him.
So
when
you're
this guy
impersonating him?
Impersonating, that's the right word.
In a bad way. Yeah. In a bad way.
Well, impersonating him, him over the phone, so he can be, because look, you and I, we would know it's a foreign language, if we heard Japanese, but like, we don't know the language well enough to really say, oh, that's Shohei's voice, or that's like if they're speaking Japanese, if they're speaking English, we could figure it out, but Japanese, oh my gosh.
So review this before you get to your second point. Are you saying this recording that came out is damning to the interpreter in
Correct.
the case, or damning to or and helpful to Otani?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Well, helpful. I didn't hear any real speculation. You and I kind of threw around the idea that Shohei might have been involved and just told this guy, "Hey, man,
take the fall.
You got to take you got to take the fall. You got to take the fall." And the second thing, and it's so sad, Terry. It's so sad. Bronny James.
Oh yeah, we
needs to get out of the. Bronny James is just not
that yesterday. Oh.
It. I can't. It's almost. I almost lose respect for not for LeBron. I get it, but for JJ Redick to go up there.
Why did he pull him up there?
And say all the things that he did, and then to put Bronny in a game after Bronny barely played in college. He did the summer league. That wasn't really much. Impressed. Look, I'm being honest. I'm not. Stop me if I'm wrong, man.
No, you're not
wrong.
He's
been doing the G League thing. You don't hear about the kid until he finally scores. He had a good game. He scored 31 points in the game. One 31-point game isn't enough to come back up and put it. He's averaging 0.3 points, 0.5 assists, 0.2 rebounds a game in the NBA.
The NBA?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about that too whenever it happened. And my theory was, I think the Laker, we had his name, just Jordan, somebody is the Lakers traveling secretary. I think what happened, Patrick, Jordan, the traveling secretary for the Lakers, got his marching orders, said contact Bronny. And I think the call went something like this. And I think they were in a bad sell area because I think Jordan contacted Bronny and said, Bronny, hey, listen, we need you to go ahead and get to the airport. And it was cut a little bit in and out like this a little bit. And he said, get to the airport, buy a ticket. We'll reimburse you. We need to get you to the NBA. NBA. And Bronny thought.
Did you throw W?
Yeah, Bronny thought he heard him say, buy a ticket, get to the NBA. They were cutting out. And it said W. They wanted him to go to the W.
Oh, Terry. Dang, Terry.
I think that's what happened. Pat,
That's Zach. What is up? Is he having a bad day, Terry? Did I miss something when I got on there? Because that's a little harsh. That's pretty harsh.
Biggest accusation to make, yeah.
Zach,
Man.
we talked about that yesterday, didn't we? I think we talked about that yesterday.
I don't remember the WNBA accusation being part of it. We definitely brought up the Bronny James thing.
I think they had a bad connection.
Thank you for the clarity there, Zach. I appreciate that, bud.
Bad connection. They wanted him to go to the Lakers WNBA affiliate. And he screwed that thing up, the bad connection. He went to the NBA Laker affiliate.
I'm not. Bro, oh my gosh.
That is the
Patrick,
our show is growing. If this was a national show, holy crap, we'd be in so much trouble.
And I think he still might have averaged about 0.3.
Oh, man. Hey, we'd be famous, though. We get famous.
Yeah, you should get viral. Go viral right now, Pat. Do something viral right now for the show. Do it.
No, I'm a family man. I'm a family man.
Hey, what's on your arm? What do you got cooking on your arm? Did you have something on your arm? No, the other one.
Oh, my pick line?
Oh, I was going to say, I had the reason I brought that up, I had that. I went to the doctor 2 days ago. First time in 10 years. And I had to give blood. I didn't know that. I hate giving blood, Pat. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Oh, I'm like,
but even they use such a small needle.
Just the thought of
it's
needle,
like
that's a tender area right there. I don't like that at all. I don't like it at all.
It is weird. You know, I've just gotten so used to it because I donated blood before for a while.
Nice.
That's different. That's a big boy. That's an 18 gauge needle. That hurts a little bit. Hurts going in. Hurts coming out. And then you can hear the thing sucking your blood out.
No, stop it, Pat. Pat, stop it.
Like how you drinking your Diet Coke? Like how you drinking and you get that first. Yep.
Pat, I need you to stop that, buddy. Seriously. Ugh, that's gross.
What?
Why did I go there?
Dr. Bates.
Why did I go there?
Hey, did you know random that I knew Brent Beard had a twin. I forgot, but I didn't know Alyssa Lang and Brent worked together at one point.
Yeah, she was here in the local TV station he does some work on. Yeah. How about that? You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Hey, we need
That
to get
had to be when she was like beginning, because she's been in the SEC for a while now.
I think she came through. If I remember right, she came through here pretty quick. She was pretty talented, and I think people noticed that pretty quick. And she's done a pretty good job. She does a pretty good job on set, I think. Don't you think she did good?
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt when you're not hard to look at. You know, she's a very pretty girl, and she knows sports really well.
And I don't think her looks were the driving factor in her career.
No, absolutely not. She's amazing.
She's good.
She's
a nice girl?
And she has a great person. I lazily didn't look at the email because I knew it's typically always Peter Burns and Pat Bradley and myself on Wednesdays, but she wasn't on, or she was on instead of him, and seeing her in our little makeup green room, and we were excited to see each other because, you know, from she interviewed me for the job, and we've been just good friends ever since. Like she's an awesome person.
That's really cool. Do y'all use the same shade of makeup and all, or y'all?
Man, let me tell you how big time she is. Our makeup artist for the guys, she's got this little bag, you know, does the stuff for us, and it takes about 5 minutes. For Alyssa, oh my gosh, two bags.
Now,
doing her hair.
But I mean, you're not saying she needs all that. She's probably a pretty girl naturally, right?
Yes, I don't think she needs all that, but like, you know,
it enhances her, right?
If you got somebody else, Terry, more men, I guarantee you, more men would do a little something if someone else did it for them. If all you had to do was sit there and someone just put like a little even found, you'd be like, okay, whatever.
Well, Patrick,
we don't care. We don't care.
As handsome as you are, your makeup must take 2 seconds. I mean, Patrick, you wake up handsome, right?
No, man, I'm not Terry. I'm not Terry Norvelle. I'm not wake up handsome.
Hey,
I'm not Idris Elba, or who else won Sexiest Man Alive recently? I forgot.
Hey, when my daughter was still living at my house, I'd see her sometimes. She's, you know, doing her makeup, getting ready to go. I said, Kendall, remember the advice I gave you? Just do like me and leave your good-looking face on the whole time. You don't have to worry about it. I just leave my good-looking face on.
Oh my gosh!
Don't take it off.
Facts. You don't have to put it on if you just leave it on. That's a good point.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh!
All right, Pat. Let's take a break. I think we're going to talk. Man, I got a crazy. You know, Saturday is February 1st, and that kind of signifies, you know, pitchers and catchers are close. College baseball is close. I'm going to get my buddy Trenton Torsi on. I want to talk about a little college baseball as we're about to kick off the season. And there's one of the more, I can't figure out what there's going to be an experiment in college baseball with a second first base bag. And I know that sounds
to the side. To try to make it a little bit safer. I don't think it's a bad idea.
I can't figure it out. We're going to talk about this, and I know it's going to be a talking point this year, and it's an experiment, but it sounds weird, Patrick. Let's talk about that on the other side. Stay where you're at. He's Patrick Young. I'm Terry Norvelle, set up right here on our Thursday home. And the patio, boy, you talk about patio weather right now. Woo, woo, woo. Sliders is the place to be, featuring Safe Harbor Seafood. Back after this quick timeout.
At Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, we know pain and injuries can stop you from doing what you love. This is why our board-certified orthopedic specialists offer the latest in both non-surgical and surgical treatment options and create a treatment plan tailored to your unique lifestyle and goals. So, whether it is a sports injury or that nagging pain that's keeping you from doing what you love, our team has the right treatment for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
The Action Sports Jax 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austin Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jax app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jax 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jax Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 143-2579.
Okay, we're about ready to jump back in. A lot of sports talk. Terry Norvelle here, Patrick Young. We'll talk to my buddy Trenton Torsia, a little college baseball stuff, kind of, getting close to baseball season. Pitchers and catchers in the MLB and college baseball is about to kick off. A little bit of sad news I want to report, and it's kind of pertinent to where I'm at. I'm down here at Sliders Oyster Bar, the patio, wonderful place. Pat, Sliders, it's right in the cool, fun corner, the Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach corner. It's called the corner, and kind of good news, bad news. The good news is, Sliders knows what they're doing, and they've done it a long time. This place is an institution. Nobody does it better. The best seafood, the freshest seafood, it can be found here at Sliders, featuring Safe Harbor Seafood. It's a fun place, entertainment, indoor, outdoor, just a fun place.
It's nice.
Now, it really is a fun place. Been around forever, and this is kind of the sad news. In this area, the corner, right here where Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach meet, it's called the corner. It's a very famous, fun place. One of the just landmarks, Ragtime, has closed permanently. Yeah, closed down permanently. And that makes Sliders now the longest running restaurant in this corner area. And that tells you something about Sliders. You don't stay as long as Sliders is. Now they are the veteran restaurant down here. Been doing it a long time, and you stay in business doing it a long time because you do it right. Bragging on Sliders, but I feel bad. Ragtime was a place opened up in '83, has been around, a fun place, new ownership, and that happens, Pat. So good news, bad news.
Right.
So there you have it. There you have it. I know you spent a few times at Ragtime.
I've been there I've been to Ragtime a few times. Yeah.
Just an institution.
I love the setup. But
it's nice. It had a good setup.
Good
Real
music
good
on
food.
the inside sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of music, like a fun place. So there you have it, and that also is a nice way to speak to.
I wonder how much rent around there has to be so astronomical.
You think?
Oh my gosh, it's got to
Out
be
of my,
so high.
Out of my tax bracket. Let me see if we. Trent, are you there? Hey, buddy.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, you sound good. You sound good. What's
Where's
going
my
on?
cowbell?
Yeah,
Where's my cowbell?
I got. I didn't make it
Just
in the
kidding.
fall, but I'm making it in the spring. And
Oh,
the
you
reason
make it?
I want to
Oh, that's
personally
cool.
pick it out and buy it for you. I'm not going to
Nice.
order it.
Our buddy Trent, who's on the phone here, our college baseball guy, among other things. Trent sits in and co-hosts a lot of times with us on the show. He's a Mississippi State guy, and he has promised Patrick Young a Mississippi State cowbell. And Patrick, you got a memory like an elephant. You didn't forget that, did you?
No, I didn't forget that.
Oh, I didn't forget either, and I knew he
He
wasn't
had
going to forget. And
he has a cool hat too. You got a really cool hat that I liked, or something. It was like a bomber or something in the middle. It was cool.
No, it was the collegiate summer league, and
oh yeah.
I told the owner of the league that you wanted one, and I couldn't remember your cap size. It's small, medium,
I
or
got you.
large, extra large.
Oh, don't say that out loud, Terry. Terry. Shut up.
He's got a little pea head. There's not a lot of brain.
I got a
up there.
big head.
A big old
I
head.
got a big head.
A lot of knowledge in
Probably
there.
Probably a large. Oh my God. Yeah, there he goes. There he goes.
Hey, Patrick, you know what we got though that Trent doesn't have? We got nice glasses like these. We both got some nice glasses. Patrick copied my glasses. He got a pair just like mine.
Hater.
Hey, Trent, man, a lot of stuff going on. I wanted to kind of freshen people up on college baseball. It's about to get started. How about last year? Tennessee wins the national title, guys. You remember that? They knocked off Texas A&M.
Yep.
Florida and Florida State were part of the Final Four, though. Isn't that right, Trent? The Gators and the Noles went deep into this thing. So your Final Four in baseball, Tennessee, A&M, Florida, Florida State. A&M and Tennessee played, and A&M actually beat them in the first game. Tennessee won the next two to win the national title. Guys, reviewing last year a little bit, do you remember the very first game? Tennessee probably stole one from Florida State. The check swing that was not called a strike.
Oh, yeah.
Would have ended the game for Florida State in the ninth inning. Trent, you remember, they called it a no swing. Probably was a swing. And then, like baseball, Tennessee rallied with 2 out in the bottom of the ninth. That would have ended the game. You remember that, Trent?
I do, and I was asked, be honest, probably no less than 100 times, 100 different people, and I said, however, and then they stopped me at however, if it was because they didn't want to hear, however, that's what they called it, and they looked at it or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
A lot of people do that when you want to present them with facts.
Yeah. So, incidentally, speaking of the Final Four, those 4 teams are in pretty much all top 10 preseason polls.
Yeah. And reviewing again last year, kind of giving us a little review, and then I want to talk about the base and the first base rule. Guys, I don't know if y'all remember the final 8 teams that made it to Omaha last year, 4 from the SEC, 4 from the ACC. Only 2 conferences were represented in the
That's right.
How about that? Was weird, wasn't it? I mean, it speaks to those 2 conferences, Trent, but I mean, nobody got in from anywhere other than the SEC and the ACC.
Well, and it's no surprise looking into this year, top 15, 6 SEC, 7 ACC.
How about that?
And then you've got Oregon and Oregon State. So only 2 schools out of what you would call the Southeast. And then in the top 25, 9 SEC, 7 ACC.
And guys, you may remember last year, one of the big stories out of Omaha was obviously the national champion. Tennessee won it all, and the coach for A&M, who were the runners-up, Jim Schlossnagle, he pulled a Nick Saban coming out of the Dolphins. Schlossnagle, remember, I am not taking the Texas job. I am not taking the Texas job. The minute the season ended, I'm taking the Texas job.
Yeah.
I think that came out during the tournament, though. I think it came out during the tournament.
Well, it leaked during the tournament, and then I guess it was confirmed once, an hour after the season was over?
And Patrick, you remember Schlossnagel undressed the reporter that brought it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
really undressed that guy verbally, and the kid and the young kid was right, and he had to go apologize.
Right. Did he apologize to the kid, like directly?
I think he did publicly. He made an apology. Guys, I thought one interesting situation in the SEC. You know, South Carolina had a run there under Ray Tanner where they won back-to-back titles. I mean, they were great in college baseball, South Carolina. They've hit hard times. Trent, you remember who they went out, they fired their guy, Mark Kingston, I think his name was. They hired Paul Maneri out of retirement, who won a title at LSU and is a great coach. Trent, I thought that was an interesting hire for South Carolina, trying to go all in and get back to their glory days.
Well, and you know, speaking of Maneri, I thought it was a home run hire.
Yeah.
I've known the Maneri family growing up in Miami since I was, 10 years old probably. But
okay,
Paul's been around the game. His late father was like he's in the Junior College Hall of Fame, and probably I think he won the most games of any junior college coach in history, or certainly top couple. When you look at it, he was at LSU, and you know what it's like to be at LSU in any sport.
You better win.
It's win or go home, baby.
Yep.
And they kind of forced him out, and he went into retirement. But when you're in baseball your entire life, and you feel like you've got some juice left, you're gonna get back into the game however you can.
And really, good hire there. Good hire.
It's a great hire. And, he was at Notre Dame before he was at LSU.
He took Notre Dame to a great heights. Pat, I want to swing back to basketball real quick. Hang tight, Trent. Trent brought up LSU. Boy, I thought LSU basketball looked clunky last night. They don't have a lot of talent on that floor, I didn't think. Auburn just kind of.
Well, they just can't. They couldn't take care of the ball. They're super athletic, really athletic team. I think Tradez Green, he's the tight end for LSU, and I thought Corey Chest, I thought he played football as well, but
I think so.
I mean, Cam Carter's good, Sears is good. They're good players. Yeah. They just don't have enough. And if you're turning the ball over, I mean, that's just like you got a chance to beat, a great team in baseball. Oh, it's like the Yankees in game 5 or game 6.
Man, I tell you what, Auburn's one of those
self-inflicted.
Hey, you put the ball out there, Auburn's going to take it.
Oh yeah,
they're going to get that ball. Hey, back to college baseball, and one more review I want to remind people, and this goes before the College World Series last year. Guys, do you guys remember it was an absolute 3-game war in the Super Regional when Florida went to Clemson? Do you remember those 3 games? And that one game had the big dust up and the benches cleared. And Trent, I know you remember, that was an absolute Super Regional war. Remember how intense that baseball was? And Florida won their way out of Clemson. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's a tough place to win, too.
Oh, real tough.
Clemson finds himself in the top 15 again this year. So that's a program that fell by the wayside a little bit, but it's built its way back up. The past couple of years, it's going to be exciting, man. I'm pretty fired up.
Wasn't that the game? Was that the game where the Florida center fielder made the incredible catch, like running straight backwards, and he made the catch at center field? I think
you're talking about the Tennessee, the Clemson player. The Clemson player made that catch.
Or did the Florida guy make it? I think there were 2 of them in that. And it went
possibly. That game had a bunch of highlights.
It went extra innings.
Yeah, I mean.
And if I remember right, it was that center fielder for Florida that ran real well. He got put in as a defensive replacement, and he made an unbelievable catch.
Yeah,
that was.
As a Clemson hater, I can confirm that was against Clemson.
That was Florida in that game. It was just a pass. It might have won. It might have ended the game. I think this guy ripped the ball. I mean, ripped the ball for Clemson. And was it Robertson? Michael Robertson, I think his name was, the center fielder for Florida. Anyway, I think you guys are bored with that. I'll move on. All right, guys. Here, let me read this. I'm having trouble understanding this new experimental rule they're going to put in college baseball. So let me just read it. It's going to be boring, but let me read it here for a second. Okay.
Okay.
College baseball is introducing a few rule changes this year, some of which will be more visible than others, like the freshly implemented double bag rule. And that has nothing to do with an ugly girl. Okay. Nothing to do with an ugly girl. Double bag rule. I thought you'd like that, guys. Which will be in effect for conference games in leagues that choose to use it. So it's not across the board, but it sounds like it's going to be used in a lot of leagues as an experimental season. All right, guys, here's what you got. And I can't figure this out too much. The setup is rather simple, they say. An orange or green bag will be situated in foul territory adjacent to the traditional first base bag, which is in fair territory. On most standard plays, the runner will step on the colored bag while the field will use the traditional bag, the field being the defensive players. The batter and runner are required to switch in the event of a dropped third strike, and the runner can choose a bag in the event of an errant throw. I don't get it. The NCAA believes the change will decrease the number of collisions at first and limit runners' lane interference calls. End of rule explanation. Guys, that's kind of Patrick. Did you? I don't understand all this.
I mean, I as long as it's about player safety and you know, I'm for it. I don't think it's too, you know, and I like that they didn't just force everybody like you got to agree to it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I've been in plenty of situations. I played first base where you know that for one you might get hit as a runner by the ball from the catcher if you know the guy wants to step to the side. And I've seen Bryce Harper when he hurt himself years ago overextending on the base, and you know you see a lot of guys trying to dig it out and they dive. As we know, they put those mitts on once they're already on. So you know, you got them fingers, man. You know, they're just trying to keep it safe. Could you imagine just jamming your fingers on that base going full speed, or guys stepping on your hand with those metal spikes? Goodness.
Trent, after I read that, and you looked into it a little bit, what do you make of that? It sounds. I've got my thought. I'll give you in a minute, but what do you make of that, Trent?
I mean, I don't dislike it. They did it in last year's SEC tournament, and it started out as a big deal, and then it was kind of a non-deal. Softball's been doing it. The youth is starting to do it. It makes a ton of sense. And then the other thing to clarify that could seem a bit confusing is if a ball rolls over, a hit ball rolls over the colored bag, it's a foul ball.
Because it's in foul territory. Yeah. Here's my.
You're going to get the situation where it's already hard enough. The ball rolled over the bag, and then it's like, well, no, it rolled over the colored bag. No, it was over the white bag. And I'm with Patrick though. I'm all for player safety.
Hell with player safety.
I mean, I played a long time. I saw some nasty collisions with.
Really?
And I'll tell you who else it helps. As a former pitcher, a pitcher covering first base on a ball fielded by either the first baseman or the second baseman, they flip it over. You know, that gives you. I think the bags are 18 inches wide. I think.
Well, can't you see a situation in that situation? The pitcher who would be covering, receiving the flip, he's got to step on the regular base. What if he quickly steps on the other base? That's more.
He's over. He's running too fast if he gets to the other side.
We'd probably need to follow up on it, but I would think.
But I mean,
just like missing the bag.
Can't you see though? A pitcher, he puts most of his foot on the colored bag, which is not an out. But they go, wait a minute, go to the replay because. Look at the little bit of his foot touch the white bag. I don't know. My thought on it is this, guys, and I hear you guys talking player safety. Now, who's not for player safety, of course. My thought is I don't think there was enough of an epidemic of guys colliding at first base, batter, runner, and fielder. I don't think there was enough epidemic to make this massive change here. I correlated a little bit to the NFL kickoff rule. I just don't think guys were getting crushed to the degree in the NFL where that kickoff rule is stupid, and they need to change that. I don't know, man. It just seems wacky to me, guys. Maybe all new things seem wacky a little bit. Maybe you think, Pat? Is that why I feel like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible, but no, I mean, I don't think it matters if the pitcher somehow goes too far and touches the orange bag. I think they're just consolidating it as one. You know,
I don't think that's
outside.
Right. I don't think
outside
that's right.
of really.
I think you have to. I don't think they're going to give that extra space to be the base because.
But it's not advantageous. It's not advantageous to a pitcher anyway.
Well, I mean, when you're Trent, you did it a million times. When you're running 1,000,000 miles an hour, you're looking at a baseball coming to you. Your foot could easily, I think, hit the outside, the bag in foul territory, which I don't think is going to count. Trent, you did it a bunch.
No, I consider that a missed bag. The intent is for the batter runner only running from home to first. So even on the pickoff move where they come in standing up, the runner does, and if they land on that colored bag, they're out. I mean, its sole intent is to avoid minimize collisions.
I think it's dumb.
Well, I think it's hard to see. It's hard to see someone
experimental right now.
I don't know how you would miss the bag coming from if you had, going to pick off. It's just that your white bag's closer to you. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I can see that happening, but I mean, who knows? Crazy.
It could. You're right. It could, but it's rare.
And a second bag, a second first base, basically, is, and I know this is probably minor, but pop fly, is that first baseman going to trip over that second bag and not make the catch? And I don't know. I don't know if it was needed, though. It's my point. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Trent, you excited about pitchers and catchers in college baseball?
I am excited and a tad melancholy because I won't be reporting to spring training this year.
No, no doubt.
It's been a long time since I've done that. So,
hey, Trent, you referenced. I'm looking at top 10 preseason baseball, D1 baseball top 10. What was the one you had?
I looked at D1 and I looked at Baseball America.
Okay, so here's D1, and Pat, how about this? I love college baseball. A&M's ranked number 1, Virginia 2, LSU 3, Tennessee, the defending national champions, are 4 preseason, Arkansas, North Carolina 6, Oregon State 7. How about this, guys? 8, 9, and 10, Georgia, FSU, and Florida. So we're expecting some real good baseball around these parts. Real good baseball. Huh. Interesting.
I think it's
Trent,
awesome.
Go ahead, Trent.
No, you had asked about a preseason tournament. I found it's not a preseason tournament, but it's the second week of the season, and there's it's in Houston, Texas. Listen to this: Tennessee, Texas A&M, Arizona, Mississippi State, Oklahoma State, and Rice.
Oh my, that's big.
5 of the 6 teams are in the top 15.
That is a big boy tournament. College baseball's been doing a really.
How did Rice get in there?
Oh, Rice is good. Rice is good in baseball.
Well, they're in Texas. I mean, they
play good
terrible,
baseball.
but I think Rice is one of those schools that's in that tournament every year.
Yeah, and Rice won a college baseball national championship World Series in 2002. They play pretty good. They play pretty good baseball. I was going to say, Trent, before we let you go, college baseball has done a nice job, probably the last decade, where they will round up and play these early season tournaments all around, and they play them in a lot of dome stadiums around, major league dome stadiums, because think about it, they're not being used right now, and it allows the cold weather schools to play early games. They're not in the snow and playing. Right, they'll go down to Houston. They'll go to a dome in Florida. Isn't that what they've been doing? And that really helps the northern schools out, I think.
And there's actually one in Dodger Stadium.
yeah, obviously warm weather
I mean,
there.
it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that, you know, the Houston is domed. I can't remember the name of their new stadium.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Nor can I. Last thing, guys. Last baseball thing, and then Trent will let you get going, and we'll take a break and get back hour number 2. Am I the only one that kind of laughed a little bit? Recently, obviously, the Dodgers have signed more players. They signed the hotshot new pitcher. They're $1 million, $1 trillion over the luxury cap. The Dodgers are spending money. Did you guys chuckle when you heard Hal Steinbrenner? Yeah, that Steinbrenner of the Yankees. He came out and basically was complaining about the money the Dodgers are spending. Is that not the pot calling the kettle black? The Yankees for years.
Oh my gosh! Right.
Trent, did you hear that?
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm actually a 3rd generation Yankee fan, but Hal is not George. The boss is the one that would endlessly spend.
Yes.
And my argument is, Hal, this isn't even your money; it's your daddy's money.
Yes, exactly. But Patrick, Hal Steinbrenner getting interviewed about the Dodgers and all the money they're spending. He basically was, man, we can't keep up with the Dodgers. Wait a minute. The evil empire, that's all you guys used to do was outspend everybody.
Right, that's all they did.
That's all they did. So, all right, Trent, what else you got for us? I know you're ready to go for baseball, man.
So just kind of an earmark, March 25th, Florida State in Jacksonville.
Ooh, Patrick, March 25th. Nice. Okay. And you know, then, the city's got another one of those tournaments where they bring, I think, Alabama and Auburn or somebody. They got 4 teams coming up to play here again at the baseball grounds.
Yeah, they do. And then Florida opens up on the 14th. They host Air Force for 3. Kind of neat having a school like that.
Yeah.
Come into Gainesville.
And then FSU opens up with James Madison, I think. And I heard James Madison's pretty good in baseball.
They typically are. They play up there in the quiet land.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's not.
All right, Trent. We're going to let you go, but I want you to comment. What happened? And we'll go to break. I promise. But Pat and I were talking about Mississippi State last night. Boy, they had a chance to knock off Alabama. They couldn't quite get over the hump last night.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, what's your take on that no call late in the game? And because the announcer said he should have dunked it, but it looked like his right arm was grabbed, and that turned the whole thing.
No, our producers looked at it, and because I thought the guy tipped the ball. I thought he actually tipped it, but no, I mean, he's got to finish that for one. And I didn't see anything. And State's got a rebound. State's got a rebound, and Riley Kugel's got to play better. Riley Kugel did nothing for you guys yesterday.
No, I know, and I was counting. I had double-digit offensive rebounds for Alabama, and
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of offensive rebounds, did you guys see the first 5 minutes of the Auburn game? They had like 13 offensive rebounds in 5 minutes, and they had a 7 rebound possession at one point. All right, guys, we'll let you guys get out of here. Pat, I think you need to get out of here. Get out of your car. We'll come back, kick off the second hour.
Cramping up real bad here.
You got it, buddy. You did a great job. We'll hook up tomorrow. Zach and I will come back and take it the rest of the way. And Trent and Torsia, thank you, buddy. And we're going to lean on you a lot as the college baseball season rolls in.
Thank you, guys. I look forward to it. Hey, Patrick, I got you, man. Don't you worry.
Cowbell. He doesn't forget much, Trent. He doesn't forget much. He wants that cowbell. All right, 1 hour down, 1 to go. Terry Norvelle coming back. We'll kick things off hour number 2 right here from the patio of Sliders Oyster Bar.
For those dealing with pain from a sports injury, arthritis, or spine condition, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists offers innovative new non-surgical options. Our regenerative medicine treatments, including platelet-rich plasma and other regenerative treatments, use your body's own restorative cells to aid in treating injuries. These procedures are performed in our offices and typically require minimal downtime. If you want to get back to doing what you love, our regenerative treatment options may be right for you. For more information or to schedule an appointment online, visit our website.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
So you're thinking about dinner. You're thinking, I don't want to cook. Maybe I want to go somewhere. Well, how about seafood? The best seafood, the freshest seafood provided by Safe Harbor Seafood is carried right here on the menu, up and down the menu at Sliders Oyster Bar. Here are some of the specials they had today. They always have great specials. They mix them up. This is off the menu specials for today. Fried gator bites, fried green tomatoes, black and blue shrimp bowl. How about lobster bacon burger, Cajun grilled mahi sandwich, flounder mahi, pan-seared wahoo, goes on and on and on. And great desserts as well. How about they're featuring blueberry and chocolate chip waffle bread pudding. God almighty, Zach, that sounds good. Oh, my goodness. That's one of those, you eat it, and about 2 minutes later, you're mad at yourself, but, oh, it was good going down. It was really, really good good going down, I tell you that. I got some comments coming in. It looks like Robertson was that Gator outfielder. Mike, appreciate you chiming that in. Unbelievable catch. Just an unbelievable catch in that super regional. God, Zach, you remember that super regional, right? It was 3 games in Clemson. That was the super regional. Winner goes to Omaha, right? And Clemson, my God, they packed about 500 million people in that stadium on those 3 games, and it was intense. There was some kind of brawl, though. Remember, there was a brawl in that game.
Yeah, there was definitely some type of like a bench clearing type of ordeal, and it felt like the Clemson had the game in the bag, and then that hit happened, that catch happened, and the Gators won.
Unreal, but if I remember right, Robertson, he was and he since transferred out of Florida. He never was as good as they thought he was going to be. He was a light hitting, fast center fielder. He got put in for defensive replacement, and I mean the Clemson batter absolutely smoked the ball.
Oh yeah. When you heard it come on, it sounded like a home run.
I thought game was over. I thought that was going to end the game, in the season, and that might have been the best baseball catch of the year in any league last year. I mean, he just catches it, smashes into the wall. It was something to behold. Zach, it's ironic, and it was an innocent moment. It's ironic that the Liam Cohen word mispronunciation has gotten this thing has a life of its own. Out of everything you could have taken from a brand new head coach introductory press conference, isn't it weird that one innocent mispronounced word, this thing won't die? It's now viral across the country.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's definitely incredibly unfortunate that that is the case. I mean, I was honestly thinking about this earlier. You know, this guy, Liam Cohen, you know, he's a young hotshot OC. He's probably grown up always being really into football, waiting his turn. You know, rising up the coaching ranks, and then he finally he gets the job that he wants. You know, they move on from the GM that they wanted to move on for, and then he has his press conference, and literally all anyone wants to talk about is the way that he pronounced the county that the team played in's name.
That is exactly what why I brought that up. It is amazing, and it'll die down, but it's going to follow him for a couple of years in a fun way. It's not brain surgery, right? It's not splitting the atom here.
But see, that's kind of one of those things where, you know, if he becomes successful and they win a Super Bowl in the next 3 or 4 years, it'll be like like the opposite. Like they'll make T-shirts with it with the way that he pronounced it. It'll be kind of like a powerful thing.
And then if he flops, Jaguar Nation, well, the dumbass couldn't even say Duval, right?
That'll definitely be the direction to go in if he falls on his face. And
but I'm going to stick with, and I think I'm going to brag on myself a little bit. I never do this. I'm going to stick with my description. I think it's the perfect description of Liam Cohen. He is likable, goofy. He's a likable, goofy kind of guy. And again, there's another side of somebody being goofy. You can be dumbass goofy. You know, you don't want to be dumbass goofy. He's likable goofy. Now, how is that going to play on his first 3-game losing streak? But when you agree he's likable, he came across as kind of in a likable, goofy kind of way.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the person I compared him to was Michael Scott from The Office.
That was a great comparison.
But the thing about him is, I mean, he's obviously got some good football wits about him. He's coordinated some great offenses. He got Baker Mayfield to throw for 4,000 yards. He made Will Levis look like a draftable player. Another important thing is, I don't know how much truth there is to this. It's just a story that's been reported, but the reports are that he called Baker Mayfield, who actually happened to be on vacation with a lot of the offense players from Tampa.
Right.
And he was saying, you know, like, should I take it? Should I not? And he said that Baker Mayfield, like the players were just like what? Like you obviously you have to take the job. Like, what are you talking about? There's no, there's no doing this. So I think that if he's the type of guy that the players connect with and rally behind, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. And if he can put the players like Brian Thomas Jr. in position to make plays and become an all-pro player like he has the potential to be, that's all that anyone's going to care about. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's January 30th right now. The Jaguars aren't going to play a game for a very, very long time. It'll be draft season before we know it. But right now, there's just not much to talk about with this team. So you know, Duval, it goes viral. You know, everyone's bringing it up. It's been brought up on the national shows.
Yeah. I was listening. I don't know if you were listening live. I was listening to the press conference was carried, and I was listening. Actually, parked outside of our studio, waiting to come in because it was around 3:30 when he got. And listening live, I immediately went, "Oh God, this isn't good." In a funny way. Funny way, I go, "Oh boy, he missed that by a mile." You know.
Yeah, I feel like you can almost hear the groans in the audience.
You could. You really could. Now, I will say this. There's a fan meet and greet tonight with Liam Cohen. It's somewhere at the stadium, and it's kind of a free event. You gotta call or register, but it's free. There's a meet and greet tonight. It may be going on right now with Liam Cohen, and it's a fan thing. John Q. Public can go. I think it's limited. You got to register, pre-register, but it's free. If you're Liam Cohen, my God, the first thing you do, you will be introduced. You won't just walk up to the podium, right? Somebody will introduce. Folks, thanks for coming out. Exciting time, new era here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Zach Rothrock here, your MC. At this time, let me bring out the brand new coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Liam Cohen. Okay, applause, right? Maybe even a standing ovation, right?
Yeah.
Liam Cohen, right? That's how these things work. Liam Cohen, he has to do this. He walks up to the podium from the side chair. His wife and kids are probably there. He extends a hand. He shakes hands with Zach Rothrock because you're the MC of the night, right? And he walks behind the podium, moves the little mic like you have to do. There's a rule. You have to touch the mic if you walk behind the
you got to
podium.
resize it, yeah.
You have to. It doesn't matter if it's in the perfect spot.
Yeah,
you have
you
to
got to
move
least
it a little
adjust.
bit.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I'm familiar.
And the first thing he utters out of his mouth has got to be Duval, right? It has to be that.
I think, yeah, I mean, it almost feels like this event is to give him an opportunity to redeem himself because the event is taking place from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the stadium, and it is officially called, according to the team's website, Coach Cohen's first Duval. So, yes, I think it is quite literally his shot at redemption.
I didn't know that when I said any of that, but that he doesn't need to say thank you when he shakes your hand, right? He doesn't need to say thank you. He doesn't need to say, hey, the back of the room's on fire. He doesn't need to say anything. The first utterance out of his mouth has to be Duval, right? It's got to be. And the place will bust up.
It'll be a telling moment.
They'll answer him back is what they'll do. The fans will answer him back.
Yeah, and he's going to be talking to a fan base that is hungry for a good coach and just literally starving for the team to be good. So they want you to be successful. So just lob the crowd that softball with the Duval and then allow them to hit it back at you, and then it's all you're back on a good path. Yeah,
and then it's go time. But that's got to happen. Staying a little bit with the Jaguars and tying the Gators in a little bit hit me this morning, and I put it in our show rundown. And Shad Khan has righted his wrong. I don't know if Napier is righting his wrong. Is Billy Napier following the Shad Khan can't see the forest because of the trees? Billy Napier, every day that goes by, it looks like offensively nothing's going to change in the structure of the Gator offense hierarchy. It looks like Napier is pretty much, unless he does something quickly, has pretty much said, you know what? The thing we need to change, we just need to get better at what we do. We know what we're doing. Is Napier missing the forest because of the trees like Shad Khan did there for a while until he finally went, whoa, there's a forest. I didn't see the forest because of all the trees.
Yeah, I feel like with both of these situations, I think there's a level of arrogance here. I think that Billy Napier has a system in place, and he believes that. I think that he acknowledges that the system has not been perfect, but at the same time, he thinks that his system and his. The weird thing about the Gators is no one seems to take responsibility for who the play calling is. Everyone gets a different answer when they ask who it is, and
what professional local team does that sound like from last year?
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of parallels.
Would never, you'd have thought you were asking Doug Peterson for the combination of Fort Knox. Hey, Doug, who actually is calling the plays? Is it you or Press? He still hasn't answered that.
Yeah, no, I don't think he ever gave a straight answer ever. And so, I mean, I would like to see some definition in who that is for sure, and I do think that he is somewhat missing the mark on that. I see the fan base ask every day, like, are the Gators going to hire a new OC? Who's going to be the play caller in 2025? And no one seems to know the answer. No one who has anything to do in affiliation with the team knows the answer. And I don't. To me, it just feels like arrogance.
Staying with your arrogance comment, to me, I think that hits a lot with regard to Khan and Napier. I don't think guys sometimes when they get in that level and they get so confident, and confidence is a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. it's a bad thing if you can't see what you're doing is not working. And I don't think
Right.
Napier realizes what he's doing is not working. My beef with Billy Napier is not just play calling. I think he's got way too much on his plate. His game management, his feel for the game, his play calling. There's more than just play calling. He doesn't have a feel for the game. I think because he's trying to do too much, his game management, when to attack at the end of the half, when to not attack, how to use timeouts, how not to use timeouts. And we haven't even gotten into if he frees up a little more of his in-game time, can he oversee, hey, do we have enough guys on the field? Hey, are there 12? Are there 11? Hey, it looks like we're about to punt. I hope we get this first down, but hey, Joe, this is Napier on the headset. Hey, Joe, get the punt team ready. Make sure we got the right number. Right?
Because those are two areas that they have certainly failed in, and that falls on the head coach any way you look at it. Is the timeout
while he's on that headset, scouring that play sheet, looking at that, probably talking to a position coach or two. I don't think he's thinking ahead to go, hey, we've had so much trouble with not enough or too many people on the field on punt situations and punt return. Hey, he's so busy and deep in that play sheet, I don't think he ever has a chance to go, hey, special teams coach, remember now, count your players. I think we had an injury, so one guy may not be there. Is his backup ready to get? You know what I mean? He can help other areas because I think Florida's got areas where they need help. They don't manage games.
Yes, someone on the special teams staff has been dropping the ball consistently in terms of getting 11 men on the field, and that just seems like something to me. It's almost
getting 12 or 13 guys off the field.
Yeah, I mean consistently.
Hey, they do it both ways. They've done it 11 and they've done it 12, 13.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. They've done it 10.
Yeah.
And they've done it 12, 13.
I don't know which is worse. I guess 10 is probably worse, but yeah. I mean, there's a clear disconnect there.
And I get it. And you've played ball. You know how special teams work. You go over your special teams, and you've got let's say it's a punt team. Okay, there are 11 people that are on the punt team. Well, I get it. One of those guys let's say one of your punt team guys also during the course of the game earlier sprained his ankle. And he's not playing football for a while. His backup's got to know, okay, you're the backup right protector. And if he goes out, you're in. I get all that. Those things happen, but you got to have some people during the game going, hey, Zach, remember now you're in because Joe sprained his ankle. You're the backup at Joe's position on punt team or punt return. I get it. It can be a little bit, but you got to stay on it. I get it. But Florida has failed. Remember last year they introduced the mat that a lot of teams use, the twister mat, that didn't do a damn thing. They had as many as they had the year before without the mat. The mat didn't do anything. They may as well have been playing a game of twister on the sideline for as good as that mat did.
And I don't really know this, but it feels like a lot of it could be just people assuming, like Coach Napier assuming that the players are going to do their job and know, like if you're the backup protector, you should know that if the starter goes out that you should be going in. But I mean, it's better to over communicate than under communicate.
I don't know. You know how these big time college games, those sidelines are packed, and you got guys going from the 30 to the 30, and I could see a backup guy who doesn't play a lot, and game after game he doesn't play a lot. I could see a guy, he might be on one end of he should be up during his portion of the team being on the field. He should be up watching the game. But I could see a guy being 40 yards from where the ball's at. And
you don't even know the injury happened, maybe.
He doesn't see on third down the guy limped off. Well, he's also the guy I'm supposed to back up. I could see that. Well, that's where you got to have safeguards in place. And maybe your head coach has to be one of the safeguards going, okay, guys, let's do an inventory of our special teams. Do we have any backups that need to be aware that their starter ahead of them is injured? Something ain't working.
No, yeah, whatever system they had in place needs to be ripped up, torn down, and started up from the bottom because it's not working at all.
And Louisiana, where he came from, Napier. No, it's not a Power 5, but that's a Division I football school, right? They play Division I football. Where I'm going with this is Napier is heading into his 8th year as the head coach of a Division I football program. It's not like, well, this is only his 2nd year. He's learning it. No, 8 years. He had 4 total years under his belt before he got to Florida at the Division I level. It just can't be happening in the 4 years he's at Florida. The first 3 years he's been at can't be happening. You should have too many men on the field happen twice all season. They've had that happen in one game multiple times.
Oh, yeah. The Utah game, the opener 2 years ago, it happened. I mean, it killed him in that game.
That might have. I remember it well. Utah scored on the first play of the game. They threw a 75-yard touchdown. Florida went 3-and-out, punted to open up the game. Utah scores a 75-yard pass, 7-0. Florida, and that was who was the quarterback before he got hurt? The kid from the kid that got hurt. Lagway came in for. Why am I drawing a blank? The Gator quarterback.
Graham Mertz.
Graham Mertz. That was Mertz's first game, I think. Right?
Yeah, it was.
So Mertz gets out. Florida goes 3-and-out. They have a couple drives where they don't do a whole lot on offense. It's 7-0 Utah because they hit that bomb on the very first play of the game. Utah's first offensive snap. Well, after about the first 2 series, Florida's defense started taking over. Utah was 3-and-out. Florida kicked a field goal, and they had turned the entire game around. The momentum, Florida had 3-and-out in Utah 3 times in a row, I think. That third time, I'll never forget, there was a camera shot behind the punter. Utah's punting, and Florida is taking over momentum. They're about to get the ball at midfield. The punter's in the end zone, I think. And you see the ball snap, and you immediately see a flag down. And you go, what the hell? Nothing. That was the double number. They had 2 number 3s. That's the same thing as what I'm talking about. That right there swung the game. It was terrible.
Yeah, it's attention to detail. That's the type of thing you would never see like on a Bill Belichick, the Patriots teams. That lack of attention to detail.
Tough. So, and Napier, God bless him. If he doesn't make any changes that we know about offensively in the game management and all, if he may do some stuff that we don't know about, but if he doesn't do anything we know about, he's set up for failure in the court of public opinion. The first time something goes sideways, well, what the hell is he still calling? What, right? What the hell is he still?
And that's probably why there's so much cloak and dagger with it, with who's doing the play calling.
He knew he had to have. Anyway, he's I don't know. I'll root for him. I'm a big Gator fan. I want him to win every game. But my God, I am going to stick by. I called for his firing last year, and I said the only way I wouldn't fire him if he fires himself up. If he doesn't fire himself up, God bless him, man. God bless him. I hope it works out, and I'm eating crow. I hope I'm eating a lot of crow next year.
Yeah, I mean, well, the way they ended the season, they got a lot of momentum heading into 2025. DJ Lagway, he's a reason to be excited for the season just on his own. So, I mean, it feels like this is the year, though. It feels like if they can't do, I don't really, it's hard to put a number on. Like, I don't know, do you say 9 wins? Do you say, I've heard people say they need to kind of be at least an on-the-bubble playoff team. Like, almost kind of like where South Carolina was at the end of the year. Kind of one of those teams where you at least think that the playoff committee gives you a shot to get in. They want to be, like, at least there.
We got a long time to talk about this a million times. I just don't know if another 7-5, and then if you go 7-5, then your best scenario is go win a bowl game and go 8-5. That's just not going to get it done. So you've got to go find 8 or more wins, 8 wins, I think, at least.
And the schedule's going to be tougher. There's one less. There's the same opponents, but there's one less home game this year.
Yeah, you better go get 8 wins, and then if you get a bowl win, you got a 9-win season. 9-4. You go 9 and if you go 8-4, get a bowl win, you're 9-4. you are knocking on that door. You're not getting in the playoff,
Probably,
but you're
yeah.
knocking on the door. But man, if he throws a 7 or less win season, one more win in some meaningless bowl game, you're just treading water, aren't you? Just it's almost Groundhog Day, aren't you? Just Groundhog Day, just doing it over.
Yeah,
and over.
but then it's almost. I know you got to go to Miami, but I mean their home field advantage isn't the best, and
No, they could beat Miami. They could beat Miami.
I think Miami's going to be significantly worse than they were this year.
I agree. I agree.
And that could be a huge momentum boost. It'd
Yeah.
be the opposite. I mean, they just came in and got punched in the mouth by Miami to start the season. What was it, 42-10 or something like? It was close to that. 16, yeah. It was real. I mean,
I was in the stadium. It wasn't a game. At no point after the first 2 or 3 possessions for both, it wasn't a game. It was a slaughter. They weren't in the game.
Oh yeah, it was Cam Ward to sit in the pocket with no type of urgency, just making every throw. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was a mess. All right, Zach, let's take a break here. Closing in on coming up on the final half hour. It's been a fun show. Hope you've enjoyed it here. We've got more topics to get to. Some this date in sports history. And Zach, I've laid this out. College football, I don't care about the dates they have set for the playoffs in the future. College football needs to go ahead and act now. The playoff windows are there for college football. We're going to get into that. There's a Saturday that begs for college football and a Sunday national championship window that college football has to grab. If they don't, they're stupid. We'll talk about that on the other side. He is Zach Rothrock, producing, getting all the buttons. I'm Terry Norvelle. Coming back, taking it home from Sliders on a Thursday.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnik Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnik never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnik Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnikBuickGMC.com, and while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnik is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnikBuickGMC.com. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, I think that groundhog rat is going to have his 15 minutes of fame coming up, right? That happens. Are we going to have more winter or less winter or whatever that groundhog rat does? As we welcome you back here, Terry Norvelle sitting on the patio. Place is filled up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables full of people enjoying the patio dining at Sliders Oyster Bar. They are going to town on the Safe Harbor seafood, indoor dining as well. The Oyster Bar, rocking and rolling, the liquor bar, man. Fun place. A lot of people out and about on a beautiful evening shaping up here in North Florida. We're down at Sliders in Neptune Beach. Zach, what's the deal? Is it February 1st that damn groundhog rat thing comes up and has its 15? Is that when it is? February?
I think it's the 2nd. I'm not 100. I can look that up real quick.
All right, so February 2nd. So he's getting ready. And what's the deal? He pokes his little groundhog rat head out, and if he sees his shadow, he goes back in or something. And that's bad news or good news?
I think if he sees it at 6 more, if he sees it at 6 more weeks, and if he doesn't, then it's about to be spring sooner.
So if he sees his shadow, that spooks him and he goes back in, and he's saying, dude, it's wintertime. Go back and hibernate.
I think it's the opposite.
Oh, okay. That damn shadow, non-shadow is just like spring forward, fall back. People get that confused too with the clock.
Yeah.
All right, man, we going ahead. What do we do? We got an extra hour. Can I sleep in? Right?
Yeah, and I don't see how there can not be a shadow because there's always like 100 cameras flashing off. So how can there not be a shadow?
But isn't that the same thing? Nobody can keep up with the Puxatawny Phil. Shadow, no shadow. What does that mean? And then the damn time change, right? Wait a minute. I get to sleep in? Extra hour? Wait a minute. I just missed work.
Well, you fall back, but then you spring forward. That's
yeah, but
trick.
a lot of people get that all mixed up. I figured that out years ago. I go, wait a minute. Bring forward, fall back. Okay, what month? Yeah, but a lot of people get that mixed up. Damn, I'm an hour late for work, man. I thought I had an extra hour, boss man. I'm sorry, right?
That's always a good excuse.
All right, Zach, walk me through this timeline. I think this is the college football is still trying to figure out how they can maximize their playoff and their big games, particularly the Final Four, the semifinal games, and the finals. All right, walk me through. I think, isn't this perfectly set up? The national championship in college football should be this Sunday.
No,
Why is it not this Sunday? And let me back you up one full week. Last week on Saturday, that should have been the 2 semifinal games because the NFL is playing nothing on Saturday. They're playing Sunday.
Yeah.
That is absolutely perfect. And here's the deal. The Super Bowl will never go back to only having 1 week, right? It has 2 weeks.
No, it's always going to be 2, yeah.
And here's evidence of that. In the history of the Super Bowl, there have been 10 seasons where there has been only 1 week, okay? 10. Okay. But the most recent one ever was 2004. So that was 20 years ago. They're never going back. The event is too big. There's too much to get done in 1 week. With that being the case, the Super Bowl is never going to infringe on last weekend, right? This weekend is never going to be the Super Bowl. This is week 1 of the off, right?
Yeah.
This weekend will always be open. Why doesn't college football? It's perfect now, right? Play your championship game. That who played? Ohio State, Notre Dame should have just played the national championship game this coming Sunday. The NFL's off. Right?
Right.
Last Saturday, the college football should have played the 2 semifinal games because the NFL doesn't play last Saturday. They played last Sunday. What is so hard about that?
No, yeah, I'll follow. I think this makes a lot of sense. This is probably one of the better ideas you've ever proposed.
Shut your filthy mouth. That almost sounds like you're in a roundabout way. You're saying I haven't had many good ideas.
No, that was nothing but complimentary. I said this was a good one.
Zach, your nose is getting longer.
No, it doesn't need to do that. Good
Lord. You're lying. You're lying, Zachary. You're lying. Anyway, that is where it's at. All right, let me do a couple of this date in sports histories. I like these. This is an ironic one. This date sports history, 1971, Zach, UCLA basketball. Obviously, this was in the heyday of the John Wooden incredible run. UCLA won 10 national titles in a 12-year span. This date, 1971, UCLA basketball started their 88-game winning streak. Okay, so they won a game today on this date in 71, and they went 88 straight games, like 2.5 seasons, undefeated. That's a great story in itself, Zach. Here's the ironic part. The team that in 1971, the team that beat UCLA the previous game was Notre Dame. So Notre Dame beat UCLA in 1971 in a game. And then after that game, UCLA won 88 straight until that streak was snapped about 2.5 years later by Notre Dame. How odd is that? They started and ended the streak, basically.
Yeah.
They bookended. How weird is that?
I mean, that's definitely. I would have. That's some type of trivia footnote in history. I never would have guessed that. Yeah. I mean, someone's got to do it. Yeah, just don't play Notre Dame. You just never lose.
Yeah, stay away from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Stay away from Notre Dame. And one more. This date in sports history, 1973, and this is a little bit ironic because this was not at all a football factory. As a matter of fact, this university, quit playing football only a few years after this. And to make it a little more wow, in the state of Florida, the powerhouse football programs in the state of Florida, Florida Gators, Florida State Seminoles, Miami Hurricanes. Those are 3 big boys. They've had a lot of players drafted into the NFL. They've had a lot of stars. Miami has had a couple of first choice players. Number 1 in the first round. Florida State has had at least Jameis Winston. I know he was first.
Yeah.
Do you realize the University of Tampa had a first round, first overall pick draft choice, and the University of Florida has never had that? Tampa, the University of Tampa in 1973, John Matuzak, who went on to have a pretty nice career with the Raiders. He was do you remember the name?
No.
No. John Matuzak, drafted by the Raiders in 1973, first pick in the first round, first overall, University of Tampa. They used to play football at the University of Tampa, and they've had a first-round pick, but the Gators haven't. How weird is that?
So is Anthony Richardson the highest drafted Gator of all time?
Where did he go? What number did he go?
I think he was number 4 to the Colts.
I know Spurrier went 3. Spurrier went 3, and I think Wes Chandler went 3, a great receiver.
Chandler, yeah, that's why I was actually just looking it up, and then I saw it just as you said it. Wes Chandler, 3rd overall, 1978. Shares the spot as the highest ever. So he and Spurrier must have both been 3. Yep.
Stephen Orr went 3rd. I've got a good Spurrier draft story, and this is kind of how life takes weird turns. If you look at the 1966 Heisman Trophy voting, Steve Spurrier won the Heisman Trophy at Florida in 1966. The runner-up that year was a guy named Bob Greasy. Really good quarterback. So he played for Purdue. Spurrier edged him out to win the Heisman Trophy. That was in 1966. They both were drafted in 1967. The following year, when the season ended, they both got drafted. Spurrier went 3rd overall to the San Francisco 49ers, who had an all-pro quarterback already by the name of John Brodie. He was a good quarterback.
Right.
So Spurrier gets drafted 3rd overall to San Francisco. Guess who went 4th? Bob Greasy. So Bob Greasy finished second right behind Spurrier in the voting for the Heisman, and he got drafted right. But Bob Greasy went to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, he quarterbacked the 72 Dolphins undefeated season.
He undefeated, and he was in that. You know, the Dolphins went to 3 straight Super Bowls.
Mm.
They lost, and then they won, and it was the undefeated season.
Mm.
Greasy was a good quarterback. Bob Greasy may be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And
he's got to be.
But how ironic. What if Spurrier wasn't drafted by a team with a star quarterback? What if Spurrier went fourth to the Dolphins? And all that. Larry Zonka, Jim Kick, Paul Warfield, Nick Monicani, undefeated team. I mean, and he's a Florida guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he thinks about it a lot. He wouldn't have had to go to that Tampa team and get beat up and sacked and all that.
Last year.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that you wouldn't have had a better career with Coach Shula and the Dolphins.
To this day, nobody really understands why San Francisco. John Brody was an all-pro, established, really good quarterback.
Yeah.
And so Spurrier didn't play much. He could have gone to the Dolphins, and Lord knows what would have happened then.
I mean, yeah, that could have really changed the course of history. He could have had a far more successful playing career. He could have potentially never even gotten into coaching or gotten into coaching way later.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you another thing that Coach Spurrier, we did a show together for a couple of years. He told me this about that draft, about getting drafted by San Francisco. He said that until he was called on draft day, they called him and said, "Hey, Steve, this is whoever from San Francisco. We just made you the 4th draft pick. Congratulations. We're excited." The call. Steve Spurrier told me that he had not heard one bit from anyone from the San Francisco 49ers. They didn't fly him out to have him throw before the draft. He didn't hear from anyone. They didn't come to Gainesville to interview him, talk to him, work him out. They didn't fly. He said, "I never heard one word from anyone with the San Francisco 49ers until I got the call, 'Hey, we've drafted you.'" How weird is that?
It definitely is. It's got to be jarring as a player. I think that's a relatively common tactic, just so there's no smoke signals, at the high end of the draft, the top couple picks. But yeah, I mean, as a player, that's got to be really jarring, though. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, there wasn't anywhere near the scouting, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I would bet you in the 60s, certainly 50s, 40s, there was a time where money wasn't spent like it is now, and some people got drafted. You would have an NFL team draft off of an All-American list. They would have never scouted players. They'd go, "We've never seen Bill Smith from Michigan State, who's a defensive tackle, but we needed to let's draft him." That's how they would.
Yeah, and that had to lead to more busts, but also probably a lot more diamonds in the rough. A lot more of your Jerry Rices going late in the draft and that sort of thing. Jerry Rice would never be drafted today where he was then due to teams in their scouting departments.
Yeah, and interesting. Hey, we almost I teased it a little bit. I know it's a sore subject because it's a sad story, but man, that helicopter plane crash, just devastating last night, and certainly a lot of lives were lost, including a bunch of members of the U.S. figure skating team. You heard, I think 14 was the final number.
Yeah, I did.
Ooh, that was tough. And, I know it's a tough story and a tough topic, but, that's not the first air tragedy that involves sports, in American sports. And probably because of Hollywood, one of the most known is the Marshall football team because of the movie. I think, the Marshall plane went down in 70, but, man, there have been a lot of tragedies over the years around the world that involve sports teams and airplanes and things like that. Some of them involve the multiple players on a team or just one individual. Speaking of Notre Dame football, 1931, the great Newt Rockne. He was on a plane that went down. Newt Rockne died in a plane crash. And that name, Newt Rockne, one of the famous Notre Dame coaches. That was in 1931. More recently, Kobe Bryant and some of his family in the helicopter crash. I mean, that was terrible. I mean, you remember that?
Oh, I definitely remember that day. Yeah,
that was terrible. Way back in the early 70s, the great Pittsburgh Pirate outfielder Roberto Clemente, all-star player. The season had just ended, and his homeland, Nicaragua, I believe it was, had just gone through a massive earthquake. So Clemente, while the baseball season was wrapping up, he started already planning. He got together and really did a lot of he got with people. He had a huge plane full of supplies, and he got on the plane and was going to help his homeland, and it went down. You know, stuff like that. Marshall, obviously, just some real tragedies that have happened. LSU back in the 1980, LSU had hired a football coach by the name of Bo Ryan. He was going to come in and take over for. They had a legendary coach named Charlie McClendon, been there 30 years at LSU. Well, he had retired, and LSU hired a coach by the name of Bo Ryan, and he was on a booster trip. He had not coached a football game yet. He got hired. It was the off season. He went down in a plane crash and never even coached. And a lot of stuff, man. Do you remember any from your? Obviously, I'm much older than you, Zach. Are there any? Obviously, Kobe. You remember that? Do you remember any other air tragedies when you were growing up?
No, I definitely remember the Marshall movie coming out. I think I was in like middle school.
Yeah. And it was a good movie. The topic was terrible, but it was a good movie. I thought what was his name? The Texas guy, the star McConaughey.
Yeah,
McConaughey played a good role, and it was a good movie. It ripped your heart out, and knowing it was a true story really ripped your heart out. A couple of them, Zach, and again, I hate to bring up bad news, but staying with the U.S. figure skating team, they lost 14 members of the team yesterday. How about this? February 15th, 1961, a commercial flight carrying all 18 members of the U.S. figure skating team to the World Championships in Prague crashed near the Brussels airport, killing everyone on board. I saw that this morning, Zach, and I go, how ironic. My goodness.
Yeah, that it repeated and came back again.
Yeah, just terrible. And here's something we were talking about Marshall, and I was researching a little bit of this terrible topic this morning. I did not realize this. The Marshall plane crash was November 14th, 1970. Okay? Just keep that in mind. Let me read this a little bit. Marshall University, November 14th, 1970. Chartered jet carrying the Thundering Herd crashed in the fog and rain into a hillside upon approach to an airport near Huntington, where their team is from. As the team returned from a game against East Carolina, all 75 on board were killed, including 36 football players and 39 administrators, coaches, fans, spouses, and flight crew. Note this date, November 14th, 1970. Zach, I had no idea until I was researching this story a little bit. October 2nd, 1970. We're talking 1 month before, Zach. Wichita State University football, one of their two chartered jets carrying Wichita State's football team to a game in Utah, crashed near Silver Plume, Colorado. Of the 40 on board, 31 died, including 14 players, along with coaches, boosters, administrators. Zach, I had no idea. Can you imagine that those two tragedies, airline tragedies involving American sports teams, 1 month apart?
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
It feels like that's the sort of thing that should be more avoidable as technology gets better. I know there's been like the recent things happening with the air traffic control, people being laid off, et cetera, et cetera. I don't really want to, get into the politics.
Yeah, we don't want to get too bad.
But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of one of those things where, people, they just started flying the planes and they didn't really necessarily know how to do that. And so they happened a lot more often back then in the 70s. So, it's
I had
surprising.
Speaking of the Marshall situation with the horrible crash in 70, working for JU for a couple of years, doing their radio play-by-play football, baseball, basketball. We when JU had football, we played Morehead State. Football was in the same conference as JU, and so when it was when we played at Morehead State one year, you fly into that. We flew into that Huntington Airport, that airport where that crash happened, basically, because they were almost home. They crashed right by their home airport, It's one of those airports where you have to you come in and then you dip down, right? And you better be a good pilot. Well, it was foggy and they ran into the side of a hill, but it was ironic to fly into that airport, and I knew the history, and it was ironic. Yeah. I remember this as a youngster. I was about 14 or 15 years old, and this was terrible. U.S. boxing team. On March 14th, 1980, the United States amateur boxing team was flying from New York to Poland for international events ahead of the 1980 Moscow Olympics when their plane crashed near Warsaw. All 87 on board were killed, including 14 boxers and 18 staff members. 2 months later, the USA decided to boycott the Olympics due to the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan. The boycott had nothing to do with the plane crash, but wow, how terrible was that? They wouldn't have even really had a team. They would have had to have gotten some of the boxers that were eliminated, to come box. Oof.
Oh yeah,
terrible.
You can't even fill the roster out at that point.
Yeah. Here's one that's much more modern. I do remember this. This was terrible, and this was another one. The story with the Marshall tragedy was obviously a horrible tragedy, many lives lost. There were 2 planes. They had one plane for the football team that was going to play and the coaches, and that's the one that went down. There was like a second plane that didn't go down for injured. They were going to take some people on the trip with them. And in a weird way, Zach, the people that survived that weren't on the first plane, that's a tough pill to swallow the rest of your life. You got to live with that. You didn't do anything wrong, but you're like, wow, what if I was on the first plane?
Oh, yeah. You always got to wonder what if, or like, what if ours would have been the one that went down? I mean, yeah, that's kind of just one of those butterfly effect type things. You just never really know. You just got to kind of roll with what happened.
And I think this next one I do remember because it happened in 2001. And again, we're not trying to Debbie Downer everybody, but this is sad news, and maybe this will help us, keep the most recent plane crash from last night in our thoughts and prayers, if you so choose. But I remember this one. This was 2001, Oklahoma State University basketball team. January 27th, 2001, a turboprop plane carrying 10 men associated with the Oklahoma State University basketball team, including a couple of players, crashed shortly after takeoff near Boulder, Colorado, after the Cowboys had played at the University of Colorado. 6 staff members and broadcasters were also killed. That was also one of those situations. There were 2 planes. There were 2 smaller planes because basketball doesn't have a huge roster. But to get everybody, they had to take 2 planes. Just that was what they did, And that was one of those situations. The second one did not crash. And you have to live the rest of your life going, wow, what if I don't even know how they picked. Were those 2? Those might have been 2 injured players that went on the secondary plane. You want your team to get there early in case there's a delay. Go ahead and have the first plane get there. So how do you feel if you're those 2 players? I remember that. That was a situation. There were 2 planes. The one with the full team crashed, and the one with 2 injured players and support staff didn't. Oh, that's tough, man. That's a tough pill to have to live with. You didn't do anything wrong, but man.
Yeah, it just make you wonder what if, and why do I deserve to be on the good one type of deal.
Yeah,
but yeah,
you gotta ask yourself. So yeah, we wanna send our heartfelt. If you're in the praying, man, yeah, that's tough. That's tough, and not just the athletes on that flight or that air tragedy yesterday. A lot of lives, and Zach, I think the water was like just unbelievable. You couldn't survive the water. If you survived the collision, the water would have gotten you within an hour, right? With hypothermia, I think they said.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I haven't really seen that many details, but yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was tough. So now that I've gotten everybody in a sad mood, but I thought we should address that a little bit, and I thought we would wait till the end of the show. It's been a fun show, I have to admit, though. We have had a fun show. But sometimes real life comes into sports. And, I always say, it's just sports, man. It's just sports. Well, sometimes it does get kind of real. So, all right, Zach, we missing anything? Are your Gamecocks ever going to win a game in the SEC basketball? They're going to win all the games in women's basketball. Are they going to win any of your conference games in men's?
Yeah, no, I think I'm all in the Lady Gamecocks at this point. I've completely given up on the men's team. I'm looking forward to the baseball season as far as that goes.
Did you like? I love the big hat that Dawn Staley was wearing at the men's basketball game against Florida. As a fan, did you see the big hat she was wearing?
Oh yeah. She knows how to draw attention to herself, and I mean that in a good way. It's good.
Zach, we got to get you that's your Christmas present next year. You got to get one of those big hats.
I'd have to figure out a way to recrop the window here to get it in the frame, but I could figure it out.
I'd wear the heck out of that. I've never seen where they sell those, but I'd wear the heck out of that thing. All right, Zachary, good job as always. We'll put this Thursday edition of the Young and Norvelle to bed tomorrow. We'll do it again. We're in studio tomorrow, 4 to 6. I'm not working. Zach, you can work the 7. I'm not working the 7. You work the 7. But no, we'll get back together tomorrow, kind of put a wrap on the week that was, look ahead to the weekend, and we'll preview big basketball game coming up Saturday. Florida at Tennessee. The Gators routed the Vols by 30, and Tennessee is reeling. They really need that win at home. We'll preview that and a lot of other sports tomorrow, right here on the Young and Norvelle Show, 4 o'clock. Join us right here on Action Sports Jacks.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave. So
feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer. You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional.